you're perfectly 100% right. That's one thing I've been thinking about actually. When sometimes I've heard the quote, set your goal really, really, really high. Even if you don't reach it, like, wow, like you still got close. Or on the other side, I've also heard people say, set your goals like ridiculously stupid low. So you're going to hit them, you're going to increase your self-esteem, and then incrementally start to increase your reach of the goal.
Yes. And personally, like, goals are an interesting thing as well, because I've never really been a big goal kind of guy either. I've never really set huge goals. And I think goals is one of those things that may work for you and it may not. Usually a lot of the sort of self-help things I've looked at, goals is a big component of them, but I didn't personally find them necessary to be able to make improvement. A lot of my development came just through extra purpose and belief, as opposed to successfully achieving goals. And it's hard to make goals if you don't really know where you're going too. And that's what I find in psychology with what I'm doing right now. There's that fog in front where I'm driving and not sure where I'm going, but I know I'll get there. It's hard to make goals for that because I can't say, I'm going to get to A and B. I don't really know what A is yet or what B is yet. So, I guess in one way I am making a goal to just stay on the path and have faith in it. But if you find goal making difficult, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. There are other steps you can take, other ways around. There's never just a one way to get there. There is an individualized way for you, and it might take some trial and error, some experimentation. That's actually something else I want to touch in before we sign off here. Is when you do something and it doesn't work, it definitely pays off to just take some quiet time and reflection and ask yourself, what didn't work about that? What did work? What didn't work? And that's where you can really come up with a new plan. For example, this year, every school year, I will take some time in the summer to go, okay, what worked and what didn't work? This last semester, I definitely found myself having some difficulties, being motivated and, keeping going. And so that's something, I've wrote down what didn't work. And this was one big thing. And, when you have that sort of thing to work on, you can then make a conscious decision to go find some information, whether it be a book or YouTube, to try and find a way around that, and then try something else. And when you try that, repeat the process. Okay, I tried that, what didn't work? And, if all these things don't work, they're kind of clues to yourself of where you're not supposed to be. If you're pushing and pushing and pushing on a door and it's not opening, perhaps it's not right for that time, or it's just not right for you. You're being pushed elsewhere. There's somewhere else for you to go. So I would advise not forcing too heavily on that doorway if it's not opening, metaphorically speaking.
Good. The intentional growth. You're intentionally taking a minute to reflect and think about what went well, what didn't go so well.
Yeah, it's an important component. Totally an important component, that reflection, where you're doing nothing. Put your phone aside, grab yourself your favorite tea, and just sit down and be with yourself. And even if you find that uncomfortable, that's something to write down that didn't go so well. I sat down by myself and I was highly uncomfortable thinking about what didn't go right with this. And there's another starting spot. It takes some of that introspective awareness, and it's a skill. It's not easy to do.
Not at all.
And that's where, those baby steps will be really important. And I think that's a skill that's invaluable to anyone, anybody.
I agree, my friend. I think reflection is absolutely invaluable when you can really sit down and try to be, I know we can't be totally objective, but really try to stand back, look at the situation as a whole and see what went well, what didn't. I think it is so important for anyone.
Yes.
Man, Brandon, my friend, I feel like me and you, we could talk about all day. Like this podcast could last 2 weeks long. But hey, my man, thank you so much for being